Remember the times your teacher asked a question in class and you knew the answer but you remained silent because nobody else put their hand up? Do you remember questioning yourself for your cowardice reasoning? It is unquestionable fear and weakness for solitude that drives people to the shelter of conformity. However, this is the reality of how our world is recognized. In Arthur Miller's tragedy, The Crucible, and Peter Weir's The Truman Show, we can see the illustration of how conformity challenges the individual and collective experience and how it can question our morals depending on our motivations and disposition. In The Crucible, conformity has twisted Salem into corruption, with the community developing a finger-pointing nature. Miller empowers the audience of tension and anxiety through dramatic irony. The use of dramatic irony here reveals how the overwhelming pressure to conform causes one's rationality to be diminished, resulting in the destruction of their morals and ultimately Salem's civilization. The accumulation of confessions and accusations as a result of the decree that them who will not confess will hang has led to 14 hangings within a week. As any individual, including you and myself, there is no choice but to perpetuate to the cycle of conformity by further accusing or falsely confessing. This also depicts the irrationality of the civil system, as the verdicts of discovering the guilty members of Salem are merely out of desperation and superstitions. Reinforced through Hale's quote, "We cannot look to superstition in this. The devil is precise. The marks of his presence are definite as stone." We can see how Salem and even individuals of high integrity, such as Hale, has been blinded by hysteria of the witch hunts, as the marks of his presence are nowhere near as definite as stone, and the only evidence to support the accusations of witchcraft are subjective experiences of the afflicted, even in some cases when the girls displayed symptoms such as going cold or needles stuck. There was never any physical evidence directly linking the accused witches to their supposed crimes. Through Salem and Hale's experiences, we are able to determine individual and collective human behavior and motivations is paradoxical, and morality can collapse when succumbed to the pressures of conformity. Similarly, Peter Weir's The Truman Show explores numerous facets of how morality can alter the human experience. This is conveyed through the fateful events of Truman Burbank, who is cultivated and inhabited in a fake town of actors whom are part of a reality show which he unknowingly conforms to and is broadcasted to the rest of humanity. The film questions the human morality by exposing the hyper-consumeristic values in which we conform to. This is symbolized when Truman falls in love with Lauren and she is removed from the set. From this point on, Lauren acts as a symbol for truth, in which he begins to reconstruct it from newspaper and magazine clippings. After the events of the reconstruction, this motivates Truman to find profounder reality and truth from the lies of his life, which is a metaphor what humanity must do to maintain morality in a reality of mass media in which you and I are consumed by. As we move towards the conclusion of the movie, Weir utilizes a POV shot of the completed picture of Lauren to symbolize how Truman has successfully recognized fact from fiction and has gained direction in his life. Weir also uses biblical allusion to indicate this. As Truman re-emerges from the water from a near instance of drowning, he is positioned to emulate a crucified Jesus. This symbolizes Truman's internal transcendence and rebirth from a world of illusions to a perspective of reality. While the Crucible comments on the dangers of letting conformity consume us, the Truman Show interprets this differently and acts as a guide to show us that the way an individual contextualizes and interprets their disposition in life can transform one's identity. In conclusion, it is highly evident that the individual and collective human experience can be altered through conformity. Arthur Miller's The Crucible and Peter Weir's The Truman Show all convey these ideas to a great extent. In these works, I've come to understand that the relationship between conformity and the individual and collective human experience is challenging, and only when our motivations and disposition are altered we can discover who we are and our unique human experience.
Morning.
Good morning.
Oh, and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.